last night, my wife and I sat down on the sofa, and she said, "Oh, let's watch a film. Let's see what we've got." So she put Netflix on, found a film, and found Austin Powers.
Oh.
Really enjoyed it because I was being a bit anal, and I was pointing out all the ways that there was the deliberate cross similarities with a Bond film, and the villains and stuff, and some of the symbolism that was going on was just James Bond, and she was having a good time because she was pointing out all the ways that she thought Austin Powers was like me. So yes, I've been. We went down to 2 weeks ago. We went down to Norwich to see the grandchildren, as I want, and always good fun. And Heidi's been looking at we sort of buy them clothing and go to George and buy them clothing and that sort of thing. And they got Disney stuff, some Disney stuff for the children. And I said, they ought to do. If they do Bambi boxes for blokes, I said I'd buy some of those. She said, "Why?" I said, because then I'd actually have Asda deer pants. That would be good. I'd like that. So yes, you can have fun with this stuff, can't you? So, passage, the gospel reading this morning is John chapter 15, verses 1 to 8. Which will give you a clue about the next song, possibly, if you're going to go in reverse like that. Fantastic. And it's John chapter 15, verse 1. So it's John chapter 15, from verse 1, the Gospel reading. "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You're already clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you will ask what you desire, and it shall be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples." Amen. Thanks be to God for his gospel of salvation. So, this is John 15, so it's sitting in the bit John 14 verse 1 to John 17 verse 26, i.e. the end of John 17. So it's sitting in the John 14 to John 17 4-chapter run, which is effectively final week tour. This is the final week, and this is positioned somewhere round about Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday afternoon. We are getting dangerously close to a trial of the crucifixion, the rest of the trial of the crucifixion. So, Jesus is in Jerusalem. He's got his 12 henchmen, as we've been watching Austin Powers, henchmen with him, and he's doing a teach-in for a lot of this stuff. But he's talking about the vine. A vine is a concept that Israel understands. Palestine at the time, the vineyards were everywhere. It was a bit of a symbol of the thing. It was Isaiah 5:7 has got Israel, the vineyard of God, and Jeremiah says, "I planted you as a chosen vine." So we've got like this stuff. It's very Jewish nation symbolic, if you like. The vine is the emblem on the coins of the Maccabees. There's a golden vine in the temple in front of the Holy of Holies. And basically, the Jews are going, if you're Jewish, you're part of the vine of God. You know, this is what they're on. So, Jesus in verse 1 saying, "I am the true vine." The Greek word is alethinos. I've not tested how we pronounce all basically means true, real, genuine. We get all those words stem from that concept, true, real, and genuine. So basically Jesus is the true, the real, and the genuine vine, better than the vine the Jews have got, or think they've got, basically. So we can sort of get the impression that this bit of, you may actually be talking to a slightly wider audience. You may have a chunk of Jews there. The 12, they pretty much know that he's that they've got. Sometimes they forget, they have to be reminded and stuff like that. But he's reminding them. He's basically saying, "I'm the true vine. I'm the real, genuine vine. Being Jewish doesn't get you the vine. Doesn't get you salvation. Being Jewish as part of the vine does not get you home. It doesn't save you, and you need a living relationship with me." That's what he's really saying. He's saying, look, and he's in a clue that he might actually be just talking to the 12, he's saying, look, you're already clean because of the word I've spoken to you. You know, he's saying, look, you know, he's saying, look, you've got a living relationship with me. You know, I do have a bit of trouble with this. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit is takes away, and every branch is more fruit. We've all seen it used, haven't we? Cutting back dead growth and stuff. But it's sort of, if you're going down the route of saying that you have to go out and bear fruit for God to keep and keep your salvation, then it's very, very difficult. I think that I've sat under in my life, I've sat under some really harsh pastoring, you know, where it's sort of like, come on, get out there and find some people, get some baptisms, you know, even slipping, you know, target-driven environment, you know, and you know, I mean, this guy organised so many guilt trips. He should have registered as a travel agent. I mean, it was just like, that doesn't sit entirely right with me. I mean, clearly, you can chuck your salvation into a cocktail. You can ruin your salvation. You can walk away from God. You can go and do lots and lots of things unrepentantly and get on with it and ruin your salvation. It's got to be possible to do that. But you know, but that I don't think that's where Jesus is going in holistic. If you look at the whole thing, he's talking. I believe that the growth is talking. Because you can't, if you go down the thing where you've got to bear this fruit to keep the salvation, you're almost back to a works answer. You're saying with the Jews, you think the Jews, because they keep the law, go to the temple and stare at the vine, and there was this thing where they venerated the people who had given the gold to make the golden vine representation on the thing, and it was a badge of honour to given the gold for a grape or more and stuff like that. So they were doing the works answer, but they were also loving money as well and venerating the people and being with pride people who had got more money and were able to pay for this gold leaf to make this vine. So it's almost, if you've got a works answer like that, when you've got to go out and you've got to go out and do it, it's pretty much near forced labour, isn't it? You know, you're saying things to people saying you've got to do it. God is about free will offering, free will choice, and all that sort of thing. And he's the thing. I mean, I don't think if you are a Christian and what have you, you're so happy about it, you want to tell people. I don't think there has to be any compulsion about it. Otherwise, you get into a target-driven environment. Jehovah's Witnesses have to do a certain number of hours, Mormons have to go out knock on so many doors and stuff like that. And I don't think that God wants us to go down a route which is it's pretty much when you know that the devil has taken someone, twisted it and copied it, and taken it and put a twist in it. It would be a bit ridiculous to go and propose that twist that you can see that's all tension and worry, and put that back into the gospel. I don't think that we need to do that. I mean, we're all very happy about something we say, Heidi has recently bought a Logic dehumidifier from Curry's PC World. She goes on about it to people because it's fantastic. She puts it on, she hangs the clothes up near it, puts it on, and it just sucks the water out of the clothes and puts it in the bin of the dehumidifier, dries the clothes in no time at all. Fantastic. Uses a lot less electric than the tumble dryer we used to have before it broke. We decided we weren't replacing it. We had the choice. Do you want to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a tumble dryer or a lot less money on a dehumidifier thing? So she goes on to people about it and stuff about how good this dehumidifier is. Nobody's making up. Curry's PC World didn't say this dehumidifier is X price, but we'll give you a half price if you tell people about it. And they certainly don't come round and go, you've not told 10 people about this dehumidifier in the last month, I want it back. And take a dehumidifier offer or anything like that. So
that's a brilliant analogy, actually.
So there, because we have to look into some of this pruning. Let's look at the vine for a minute. Vine sleds, the little original plants, the little slip plants, when they're first planting them, they plant them about 12 foot apart. The length of two blokes, sort of thing, or 2 fathoms, 12 foot. That's quite a long way, that's sort of here to there, because they're going to grow. The boy, in the hot climate of Palestine, these are going to grow. They are going to seriously grow, and they are going to go pretty wild. Get side shoots that need trimming off, and stuff. And when they're talking about pruning the vine, they're wanting the energy to go into the branches that are bearing the fruit, not dead woody side shoots and stuff like that. My mum used to keep raspberries. We never kept vines because we were warm enough. We lived in Leicester, for goodness sake, we were warm enough down there. And she grew raspberries at the bottom of the garden, and Dad and I had constructed a great wooden thing, so down the back fence, and then we constructed a wooden frame and netted it up and built a couple of different iterations of raspberry cage for her with her daughter, keep the birds out and stuff, stop the birds getting all the fruit. But we get the raspberries, and she worked out how to blanch them on a tray so she could freeze them, because there was just far too much to make. She made jam and everything, and a great time. And come autumn, she went in there with a second turtle. It was brutal. She went in there and you're hacking it back and stuff, and hacking it right back, and you were left with this blooming 2 foot of twig, and you're going like, oh, I think you killed it. That is one severe pruning. That is a severe prune, and yet, instead of sapping the energy with the onto the dead wood that produces fruit and what have you, it trims it back, and then there are new shoots able to come to keep the main stalk still going and stuff. And I think I believe, having considered this, that God is talking about our lives. We have got to get, for goodness sake, if there's anybody here who hasn't grafted himself into the vine, hasn't made that elective choice to make Jesus the vine dresser, let's do that. So we'll do that this morning. Goodness gracious, don't go out there without. Goodness gracious, I remember the guy was saying that the second coming threat never bothered him, but whether you might go out there this morning at the meeting and go under a bus threat did it for him, because you had to make sure that you got God before you went out there. Dangerous drivers around. And we're talking about our lives. Let's get grafted in. Let's get grafted into Jesus the vine. Let's get rooted and grounded in Jesus. And then what I believe Jesus is talking about, he's talking about trimming the things in our lives that are taking our energy and sapping our energy and our time, a waste of our time, our energy and our money, and leaving us clear to do the things that out of a free will, that we will then do things for him, that we will then be free I do have slight issues with that other song we sang. You do all things well, just look at our lives. Yes, thank you very much. Don't look at mine, please. It's not a good advert. I'm a realist here. Don't look at mine. But you stay in the vine for support. The branches of the vine, they get support, they get nourishment, and you stay in for support, for nourishment, and for better help with the pruning, don't you? Because there was towards the end of Mum's life, she didn't prune the raspberries as much, and by heck, I can tell you, they were a mess. There was a thorny mess left behind when Mum had gone, and we had to sort the house out and that was some serious blooming pruning there. You take a bit of light pruning for trimming, don't you? Because if you don't have the light pruning, you're going to end up with the big prune, which nobody really wants. I liken it in some way to this sort of the AA 12 Steps program and the support group where you're strong if you're in the group and you're not if you're not. So stay with the vine. Stay with the vine. Let's stay with the vine. Let's make Jesus the sponsor, sort of thing. It's someone you can phone when you're feeling a bit. You can always call him, can't you? You can always call him. You don't get the engaged tone or network connection unavailable or error or you haven't paid your bill. Because you can always call him, can't you? We've even got that song out. Jesus, be the sponsor. Anyway, but the sort of thing. But you want to help the pruning because it's light if you do it often, it's heavy if you do it. So basically, and I think with this stuff, there's a bit of a danger that we can all sit there going, oh, look at him, let's trim that there. Oh, yeah, over there, she needs to stop that. Stop. So that we need to stop looking at, in this process, we need to not just help other people and be the strength for them, but we need to stop looking at them and thinking about others and focusing on ourselves and a bit of a proof for a bit, because we do need to do that. I think the sort of points we want to take away from this are: it's not a works answer. It's not about how much you graft. It's about being grafted in. Let's get rid of the dead wood in our lives, and then let's glorify the Father and be his disciples, and then other people will want to join the vine as well.